sea. And we are looking for that mating pair of lions we saw on the sunrise safari. It's a Birmingham and in Kahuma. And of course we saw 10 different cats on the sunrise safari, 9 lions and 1 leopard, Mvula. Now I left those mating lions very close to where we are now, so I'm hoping they haven't meandered too far during their love tryst and will be in the shade close by. Now, as I said, balmy 21 degrees, 71 Fahrenheit, and it's the middle of winter. Okay, lions, where are you? And the flies are out, it's so balmy. Little biting flies known as stable flies, irritating little things. Look very similar to the common housefly. I just want to see if there are any tracks here. This is where we left the lions, lying just up ahead here. I want to see if they possibly have moved further to the southwest. If they, I've got a feeling, I'm hoping they haven't, but they might have gone towards Buffalo's Hook due to the, to Sydney's waterhole, due to the water, of course. Let me just have a quick look here. Tracks all around. It looks like they were actually sleeping in the road for a while. Just now trying to decipher which was the last way it went. It looked like they might have gone further to the north. Just going to check in the shade down here. Around that termite mound. Have a quick squiz. There are some tracks of them just going off here. So it's unlikely they will move too far during the day, but they might have moved a couple hundred meters. Now, with mating big cats, it generally happens about once every 15 minutes. Now, there's a bit of a conundrum with this particular mating pair. The fact is that the lioness has suckle marks. Has the male become confused by all the hormones and has decided he really wants to mate? Or has she lost a litter of cubs in the last week? And at the moment, we can't say for sure. Here we go. No, it looks like they have gone a bit to the north. So let's head that way. Of course, they're not going to make it as easy to find them lying where I left them this morning. But that's half the fun, is tracking them. And remember, you can ask me questions about what we're up to here in the African bush, and you can do that by sending an email to questions@wildearth.tv or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Now, who's going to be the first to spot the lions? Gerard or myself? We're still looking for that mating pair. We apologize about the disappearance of stream. Now, I don't see any tracks coming through here, and there's some lovely shade over there under a guarri thicket. So I think they could have gone there. There's another big animal path here. Now, of course, I love walking lions on foot, but when they're mating, they can be a little bit grumpy. So you can get a flying feline coming at you. But if I don't get any success, I might have to take a walk just now. I'm pretty confident they're around here, not far from where we left them. So we left them just on the other side of this bush. Seeing if they're not sleeping in the thicket. No such luck. Where have you got to, kitty cats? Now, we will definitely go back down towards the rest of the Nkuhuma Pride a little later. And I'm pretty sure they're all pretty flat, and this is our best chance for an active cat. I caught a little dead branch under the car, making lots of dust. And Jamie is going to head towards that area when she's up and running, where we had Mvula on the sunrise safari. And she's got the Z150. Whoa, that one jumped. Big branch. And having the Z150, she's probably going to be able to give you a better experience in that very steep little river system where Mvula stole what we're pretty confident is Sindile's kill. Now, male leopards do that all the time. They steal from other male leopards, they steal from female leopards. Very common behavior. And you'll be happy to know I have a spare tire again. I had it fixed. Let's hope we don't get another flat. Okay, I'm just trying to get my way out of this thicket. Now, these lions are close here somewhere, and of course, it is quite warm, so unless they're mating, they could be very flat. And the elephants have pushed over a lot of knob thorns in this area, which makes driving around here a little difficult. Still checking all the major game paths to see if the lions went this way or that. I'm going to check a little bit further to the north now, once I manage to extricate myself from this block. Okay, so no sign of them in the shade just yet. I'm just trying to get back onto the road, which I can see, and quite often seeing it not as easy as getting onto it. Right, there we go. We found a gap. Aha! We're out. I'm going to check a little bit further to the west and then duck around to the north. They might have headed to Sydney's waterhole for a drink. So often you're looking too far and they're actually lying right next to the road. But not today, it seems. So often you're looking too far and they're actually lying right next to the road. But not today, it seems. Okay. So actually between two water sources, one to the west, but the closest is to the north. So let's hope they went to the one to the north and then came back to the shade of Djuma. There's not much shade around Sydney's waterhole, so they could have moved back to those quarry thickets, but maybe a little bit further to the north. Okay, here we go. Now, where are these lions hiding? This is a common thoroughfare for a lot of the big predators. Oh, no lion tracks on top of my tracks. That's always a good sign. Now, where could they be hiding? Still no tracks coming out from where we left them. We first found them this morning just down here. Mystery disappearing lions. Now, they could have been chased by elephants during the day on their way down to Sydney's waterhole. Another big path here that they might have used. But again, no tracks. Okay, let's go check the waterhole itself. And then if nothing, we'll go back to the last spot we had them and have a closer look at those tracks around there. Well, no lines there, just a single zebra about to disappear over the dam wall. And it's gone. So you can see no lines here. Let's just check into these thickets over here. Where could they be hiding? got an Inyala there. I just saw a zebra disappearing there. So it leads me to think that they're still in here somewhere. But I just want to double check the tracks again. Nope. Okay, let's go back to the last spot we had them and have a closer look around there. No sign of those cats around here. Hi, Fox Hat. Fox Hat is saying, apart from the Greater Kruger, where we are now, is there anywhere outside of South Africa I have guided? Yes, there's quite a few places. I've guided in Botswana, Zambia, Namibia, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Gabon. Yeah, I'm missing one somewhere. Mozambique. I think, Mozambique. Yep, I think that's that. Now, a lot of those are... I lived in Tanzania for a few years, and Botswana for many years, and lived in Zambia as well. The other countries have been on private safaris, where I've traveled with my guests to different destinations. Oh no, those are old male lion tracks we were following the other morning. Okay. Now, I still think they're quite close by. During the day like this, it's unusual for a mating pair to move more than a couple of 100 meters. But as I said, she might not be fully wanting to mate, but because of her hormones, it might be confusing the male. Oh, that's a bush. Now, we've driven through this area already, but they could have just been lying in a way that your eyes just pass over them. So that's why I'm still scanning really carefully. Looking for that white belly fluff, or a flick of an ear, or the tail. Okay. Let's see, maybe the bush growls at me. So this is where they were. I just want to have a quick look around here. Now let's have a proper squiz. Now, I did see some tracks around. No growling bushes. Yeah, so there's a track going in here. Now where's the track of them coming out? So I can see which is the more fresh. Now, see what I thought happened? Now that could have pushed them a bit because there's elephant tracks on top of their track. So they probably got chased by elephants, which is going to make them slightly more difficult to find. Oh, turn around. second. Okay. So they definitely went that way, and they definitely didn't cross the boundary. So they are probably close by. As I said, I don't think they've moved too far. I think the elephants might have just disturbed them a little bit. Okay, let's... Just to make double sure the elephants didn't chase them for a while, we're going to go around onto Sandy Patch and then come up through this area again. So it sounds like the battle with Rusty is being won, and hopefully Jamie and Dave will be out shortly. Okay. I do love a good puzzle, and that's what the lions are giving us at the moment. Just on the game drive for a second. Standing by. Negative. You can go straight to the leopard. I'm pretty sure they're just in that little drainage there. They haven't crossed north. Okay. Just in case the elephants push them, I want to check these shady areas around here. Sandy Patch to make sure they haven't gone a bit further to the south or southeast. So we're going to go look for these lions. While we do that, we are going to go to Tech Loop. Peter Braat is there trying to fix the stream issues. And so don't disappear. We'll be back as soon as possible, hopefully with lots of kitty cats. So unfortunately we experienced some tech difficulties. That's one of the things about being live and in the bush, but our tech crew is on it and not asleep like the lions behind me. Hopefully we'll be back with you shortly.
Sorry about this, everybody. Perhaps something has pushed over the Gauri repeater, just like the elephants have pushed over this marula tree. Our technical team is rushing around, madly trying to fix it, and we'll be back with you as soon as we can.
Hi everyone, we are experiencing technical difficulties, but please bear with us. Our engineering department and our tech department will be working on getting us back up and running as quickly as possible. As you know, bringing you live safaris from the middle of the African bush is not always the easiest task in the world, but we will be back up, and stick with us because you never know what might be on your screen when we return to you. Good afternoon and welcome back to our sunset safari. And unfortunately we have been beset by an attack of the gremlins, both on Rusty herself and with our stream. So we really do apologize, and thank you all for your forbearance in dealing with the problems that we've had over the last few days. As you can imagine, it's a bit tricky live streaming a safari from the middle of the African bush. My name is Jamie, since I have not yet introduced myself, and this afternoon I have Dave on camera with me. And Dazzling Dave and I are going off in search of Mvula, who was last seen on the sunrise safari with a kill that he had stolen. Well, we don't know if he stole the kill or if that's what Herbert believes happened. We know that he had a scrap with another male leopard because Herbert heard them growling in the block. We suspect, and with good reason, which I'll explain to you in a moment, we suspect that it was Sindile that he had a little bit of a set-to with. The reason we say that is from yesterday, where we had the update from Harry in terms of the tracking collar that Sindile wears. We're talking about leopards, by the way, if you are totally new to this show. You ready, Dave? Happy? Cool. Hello, elephants. You're not leopards. Right. Anyway, just to quickly finish that off, Sindile's tracks went straight from the last point that we had the update from Harry and walked straight across here to where Herbert tracked him down to with Mvula this morning. So there, I would say, in my own mind, I'm convinced that it was Sindile. Of course, it's up to you guys to make up your minds. Hello, little ones. Okay. Well, all right then. Duly noted. Hello, big girl. Okay. All right. I noted your warning. So she gave me a little bit of a head shake there, just to let me know that she doesn't want me to push any closer, which of course I wasn't going to do anyway. And what a nice way to start off our sunset safari then, with a very peaceful herd of elephants. I know this one-horned lady. she can be a little bit antsy, if it is her. There's quite a few one-tusked elephants around. And I think it's her. She probably broke that tusk, her right tusk, off at some point in her life. And I was actually about to say to you, we've got fresh elephant tracks heading in the direction of Mvula. I was hoping that they hadn't... Oh, it's a dust bath time. Hoping that they hadn't chased him. But it seems as though they haven't quite got there yet, which is good news for us, because it means that we've got a very good chance of finding our leopard in the next few moments. Now, far be it for me to push to leave elephants. I really would not normally want to. However, because it is going to be a 2-vehicle sighting with Mvula, because of the position that he's in, I actually do want to go to him first, so that we can spend as much possible time with him before we have to leave the sighting in order to make way for other vehicles. So unfortunately for now, I wouldn't normally do this, but for now we're going to leave the elephants. We'll come back and find them after we've spent a little bit of quality time with Mvula. And just hold on. She's still giving me a slightly head-up look. Hey, big girl, can I come past? Not coming quickly, nice and slowly. So what I've done there is started my vehicle engine. Big girl, it's alright. What's wrong with you? A bit stressed. Shame. Well, I think she might just be moving naturally. No, she is just moving naturally, not because of us. Alright, so what I did there was I started the vehicle and then let the engine run for a little bit, just to get them used to the idea that something's about to move in their vicinity, and so that they don't feel threatened in any way. And then the important thing is, when you're coming past a herd of elephants like this, a lot of people, if they're not familiar with elephants, especially in the Kruger National Park, for a lot of people, they start up their engines, they've got that head shake from the female, which they immediately interpret as aggression. It's not aggression, but it is a warning, and it is something that one should heed. She's not saying go away. She's saying mind your behavior. And then what people often do is they start their engines and they accelerate away at a rapid pace, and that immediately upsets the elephants because it makes even more noise. And that's definitely not what one wants to do. Okay, there's vehicle tracks going off to the right of me. Brent said a better approach was to go to the fire break itself and then go south. I'm going to take Brent's word for it. He seems to think that that's going to be our best way of seeing him. Of course, we don't know exactly where Mvula's going to be. He's got an impala kill, but he might have moved it across to the other side of the drainage line. But you can come on a voyage of discovery with me to see whether or not we can locate him. And the reason why there's 2 different entry points to the sighting, it becomes immediately clear. It's in the block between Gallagher Shortcut and Mvubu Road. Now, this piece of information is for our truly avid viewers who are very familiar with our geography. They will all know that this is one of the most difficult areas in the reserve for us to move around and to negotiate, because it is full of these river systems. I wouldn't call them rivers. We refer to them as drainage line systems, which a drainage line is just that. It's where water drains when there's lots and lots of rain. And it's only really when we have heavy, heavy rains that these will flow like little rivers, like little creeks. But this whole block is crisscrossed with different drainage line systems. Everybody hold on, Dave included. Can't do the show without you, Dave. Good. Up through the rocky areas and out the other side. Oh, clunk. Now this morning we were truly spoilt in terms of sightings. We of course had the lionesses hunting buffalo and the mating lion pair. By the way, I didn't realize that because I was stuck this morning with Rusty having a few problems. I didn't realize that the lioness that was mating had suckle marks. So I think that it's not necessarily an indicator that she's lost her litter. It might just be that she... Oh my goodness, is this where we're going? Looks like it. Brent said I'd see his vehicle tracks going off. I do. This looks like it might be a tricky place. I've only just fixed Rusty's brake line. No, Opar just fixed Rusty's brake line. Alright, well... Oh no, it's where Brent turned around. That makes more sense. I was getting worried there. I was looking at this patch going, oh no. Anyway, that lioness, it's not necessarily a indication that she's lost her cubs, the fact that she's mating with suckle marks. It might be that her hormones have confused the male a little bit. So we saw it with the female with amber eyes a couple of weeks ago. Oh, there are more elephants here. Ooh, this could change the game. I wonder if they've chased Mvula. That so often happens in between morning and afternoon game drives. But yes, it might be that her hormones have caused him to mate with her and her to respond with him, even though they are hormones related to pregnancy more than anything else. Right, that elephant that has just walked out in front of us has come straight from where Brent's off-road tracks go. And it's much easier to see which way he went. Okay, so that changes things a little bit. Let's go and investigate, first of all, see if he's still there. Otherwise, we might have to launch a bit of a search party. But because he has an impala kill, I don't think that he will be away from that particular area for too long. Okay, let's see, I think I saw more elephants moving through. Yes, there's a little one further ahead. We're just going to let it scamper out into the road. Here goes, panic, everybody's left me behind. Burp. Oh, did you meet a leopard in there by any chance? Looking very upset. Very, very upset. Okay, well, we're going to watch our Ellies slowly moving off to the north towards Buffelshoek property, and then we're going to head in and see whether or not we can locate that leopard. We're going to have to move over some bushes, and it might not be all that much fun to watch for you. So what we'll do while we do that is send you back across to Brent and see what his plans are.
So, no such luck. So we've checked the north, now let's check the west. And if they're neither here nor there, they must be in between. So I'm just checking very carefully if there's any tracks going across. So I said they were directly sort of in the middle between two water sources. So they might have gone this way for a drink. Luck yet. I'm still checking every little bit of shade. Now, of course, if she hadn't lost her cubs and that male line was just getting confused by the hormones, she might have tried to do a runner from him during the day. Could easily be just in the shade here somewhere. Seen literally every track except the lion track. There's some seriously shady quarry thickets in this area, and they could easily be lying up in one of those. So we saw that Birmingham boy with that lip injury this morning, and Lynn is wondering, do we think it is from mating or from something else? I think it's almost certainly from fighting with one of his other coalition members, either for mating rights or fighting over a carcass. I think it's from another male lion. I don't think it's from mating. But it is possible it could be from mating. An injury like that, they normally get from other males. Okay. Aubrey's coming to give us a hand. So I'm going to go back and have another proper look around where we last saw them. Okay. Tax. Best access is from Rebecca's Road on that open section that runs all the way to the western side of quarantine. The Nkomas used to ladder there with the Matimbas. Okay, so we've got no sign of them coming out. I'm going to zoom around, go back to where I last know they were there. Okay, remember, send us your questions on questions@wildearth.tv or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. At the moment, Jamie is heading towards the last position of Mvula, the male leopard, and we're trying to find a mating pair of lions in Nkuhuma and Birmingham. Hi, Paul. Paul watched the highlights from this morning. It looked like we had a very eventful day. That we definitely did. Now let's hope for an eventful evening as well. I'm just trying to figure out where these lions could have got to. These tracks going in both directions. Looks like they lay on the road for a while. Maybe I'm just going to have a quick look in the shade here. In the Gwari thickets. Now, walking into a mating pen, particularly this Birmingham at the moment, he was a bit jumpy this morning. He got that massive fright from a dove. So, I will walk if I have to, but if we can find there's some tracks there, without getting onto foot, because quite often what will happen is the lions will run from you on foot, and then it's a little bit harder to find them in the vehicle. Hi, Alex A, a new viewer. Welcome, Alex. Alex would like to know, are we in Africa? Most definitely we are. We're in South Africa, to be more particular, in the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, and more particular the Djuma Private Game Reserve. And the lions didn't come this way. That's disappointing. And Alex, we are in the Greater Kruger National Park, so we're in the northeastern part of South Africa. in an area called the Low Veld, nestled between two mountain ranges, the Drakensberg and the Lebombo Mountains. And it is an area made up of mostly, or not mostly, a lot of wildlife area, including the Greater Transfrontier National Park, which is 8.5 million acres of unfenced wilderness. We operate in a very small little corner in the center of it. Okay, I'm going to go chat to Aubrey and William about these lions, see if we can collectively figure out where they went. Okay, so I might take a little walk from here. Okay, so while I take a little walk here, let's go see how Jamie's endeavours with the leopard are going. I think I'm going to go take a walk with William and see if we can find where these lions have gone.
You won't believe the turn of affairs that things have taken. Now, I haven't managed to get myself a good position just yet. In fact, I'm in an almost impossible position. But this, I have to confess, has taken me completely by surprise. Hold on, I'll show you what I mean in a moment. In theory. Yo! This is difficult. Okay, hello, boy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Look who's there, guys. Can you believe it? Because I can't. You have got some serious courage, little boy. You really do. Everybody who is joining us for the first time, watching us closely with a little bit of signs of nervousness, so we're not going to reposition at all, with a collar around his neck, is a young male leopard called Sindile. Now, Sindile is the grandson of the Queen Karula, the leopardess that is dominant in this area, and about 10 months ago, while he was just a cub, he caught a dog, a stray dog that had made its way in from one of the surrounding villages. And he caught this dog. The dog was then caught and tested positive for rabies. Sindile was placed in quarantine for 8 months and then released back into the wild with that collar that you see sitting around his neck. I have been looking for this little chap for 2 days now. He's been following his mom around. I said to you I was almost certain in my own mind that it was Sindile that Mvula had chased away from the kill. And I have just found Mvula. Sorry. This is utterly incredible. Sindile's story just keeps getting more and more fascinating. Dave, go. There's a tambuti tree at the back. It's a big tambuti tree. See where the hole in that termite mound is? Go to that hole and then go upwards. Go up into the tree. There's a foot. See the foot? Just in the center of your screen, he just twitched there. His head's twitching. Go up a bit. There you go. There's Mvula. How incredible is this sight? I can't believe it. The story just gets more and more complex. And Sindile, you are one brave little boy. Because Herbert heard them fighting this morning, and he found tracks of Sindile running to the east. There sits Mvula, king of the castle for now, up in a tambuti tree. I have absolutely no idea where the kill is. I think the kill is beneath him. I think at the base of this tree. I can't see if he's hoisted it or not. He might even be lying upon it in the way that leopards often do when they've dragged it into a tree. I think that kill was Sindile's. I think Mvula stole it and they fought. But they appear to have reached an uneasy peace. This is absolutely incredible. I can't believe this is happening. I nearly said to you guys I'm going to go look for Sindile afterwards. And here they sit, the two of them, not more than probably about 40 meters from each other. I really am utterly blown away by this. I was expecting to find Sindile not far away, but I did not expect to find him at the site itself. Lying up in the drainage line. The two of them perfectly aware of each other. I'm just going to take my foot off the brake, although it's making me nervous. Put my handbrake up as well. We're on a terrible incline. And there sleeps Sindile, looking thoroughly in one piece. Those bright blue eyes and beautiful face that has become absolutely famous throughout the world. What an incredible tale this little cat has got to tell. I have no idea what is going to happen next. I think that Sindile is chancing it, and I think that Mvula, having recently been involved with a fight with another male leopard, I think he's probably reluctant to press home the advantage unless he absolutely feels as though his kill is threatened. Maurizia? I don't know. Look, Sindile's got a relatively round belly, so he probably had a little bit of time spent feeding on his kill before he was chased away from it. Do I think that he will take back the kill? No, I don't. However, dominant male leopards, and Mvula, I don't know if I would call Mvula a dominant male leopard, but he was a dominant male leopard, certainly in his time. He could even be, it's not impossible, he could even have a memory of mating with Sindile's mother Shadow. He may or may not be the father. I don't think he is, but we don't know that for certain. He could have been. He was dominant in this area when Shadow was pregnant with Sindile. He could be the father. It's unlikely, but it's possible. You know how that female leopards try and mate with as many males as possible for this exact reason. Our fathers and sons are occasionally seen together sharing kills, not usually at Sindile's age, but Sindile is the exception to every single rule. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. That was a surprise sneeze. I really am absolutely astounded at this. I'm still not entirely sure what to make of it. Look, I mean, he's perfectly relaxed. Let's check him. Let's check him out. Has he got any fresh injuries? It doesn't look like it. He's covered in flies, certainly, and we can't see all that much of him. Herbert said Mvula had a few deep scratches that Brent couldn't see from his angle. But Sindile from this side looks absolutely fine. And Paul, looking at him from this angle, he doesn't have a full belly. And especially when a leopard is lying on its side, it's harder to tell. I think he probably managed to feed off a little bit of the carcass before he was chased off it. So Paul, he does have a roundish belly. He doesn't look hungry. He looks in perfect condition, which is incredible because after 8 months in quarantine, he has somehow managed to look after himself, keep himself safe. It is so wonderful to see him here. There's not even any growling. It's not even like the sighting that you had with Quarantine in Shivambalana, where clearly the two brothers had two brothers from different generations. They clearly had a little bit of an encounter with each other. How incredible is this? The story just gets more and more intriguing. The last time we saw Sindile was with what looked like one of his first reunions with his mother, Shadow. Now, Shadow has a 4-month-old cub with her, a new 4-month-old cub that she's since had in the interim. And the phenomenal thing about this whole situation was that she was calling for her cub. Sindile was responding, and she was then responding aggressively to him, trying to keep him away from the cub. When I found his tracks yesterday, he was absolutely close to where Shadow was. We're convinced that he was following her around, but he's obviously decided to move off into a different area. Now, guys, I do have to get onto the Game Drive channel. I have to update them that there are, in fact, 2 leopards in this sighting, which I cannot believe that this has actually happened. And by the way, the mating lines have been found. They've been found up at Sydney's Dam. Just an update for Brent when he does return to the vehicle. I know he's off walking. Just have a look at Mvula for now. I'm going to try and wait for my opportunity to talk on the Game Drive channel. Our stations, there's 2 Madora Ingwe here, Mvula and Sindile. Mvula is up in the Shadulu and Sindile down in the Shkoba. I'm on the eastern side, Orbs. I think there will be visual for 2 vehicles on the eastern side. I can always move around for you, just because they're a little bit separate from each other. Guys, I can't believe this. And at some point we will do a reposition in order to see where the carcass is, because of course that is what it's all about, is where the dead impala is. There's Mvula. You can really see that he is starting to age just in terms of the yellowing of his teeth. I think Mvula has the most beautiful eyes. Well, I used to think that Mvula had the most beautiful eyes of any leopard I had seen. That was, of course, until Shungile was born. Shungile, Karula's little daughter. And he's got an almost pale blue colour to them. Not that you can see them, of course, through the boughs of the tambuti tree. He's resting up, panting off a full belly. And the question will be, will Sindile be brave enough to go and try and feed off the carcass? He doesn't, to me... Oh, he's now watching Mvula. He's sort of looking up at him, then across at me. He's restless. I don't think his face doesn't look like he's been feeding, although he might have cleaned it off. I actually think he's going to get up and give it a go. You know, that collar might even work to his advantage in terms of protecting, doing the job of an adult's dewlap. Not completely, though. I mean, that's a slight exaggeration. Just by the way, for those of you who are new to this area, look, he is looking. Hoping to share. Here he goes. Okay, this could get very interesting. He's slowly stalking forward. Yes, very subtle, Sindile. Mvula hasn't moved. I think Sindile playing the inch forward game. There he goes. Hold on, Dave. We need to do some Oh, sorry, Dave. We need to do some relatively quick repositioning here. Sorry. Oh, goodness. Can't see Sindile right now. I can tell you that we're at a very awkward angle. I'm very glad Rusty has brakes again. Can you see him, Darby? You got Mvula, but have you got Sindile? Where is this carcass? I've lost the view of Sindile for now. Mvula's looking right down underneath him. We're at a terribly awkward angle, but he doesn't look aggressive at all. He's not responding angrily. Angela, do I think Mvula is put off by the collar because you find it odd that two male leopards are in such close proximity to each other? No, I don't think that it's the collar, Angela, although it's a good point. I don't think it's the collar. I'll tell you what I think of this situation. I think it's his age. I think that it is Sindile's age. Oh, he is. I can hear him down here. Hold on one moment. I'm taking my earpiece out. I can hear him. Where can I hear him? Where's this carcass? Because that's going to tell us where to go. He's feeding. Can you believe it? I can't see him, but I can hear him. Mvula hasn't moved. I'm just trying to lean over to see exactly where he is. But I think... No, he's feeding. I don't believe this. Incredible. Sorry, I'm trying to contort myself here to try and double check, but I can hear the crunching of the bones. The carcass must be in this drainage line. It's the grey hornbill. Mvula hasn't even moved. I think our best approach is from the other side of the drainage line wall here. That's what I think we should do. Right, I'm going to sit back down because I'm currently contorted into a very uncomfortable position right now. He's down here. But, okay, so here's what I think is happening to Angela's question. Leopards are... Yes. What was that?
You look like you're on a roller coaster.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. We're quite uncomfortable here and a little bit concerned. Fortunately, there's a raisin bush if we do just suddenly decide to tilt over and collapse into the drainage system. Here's what I think is happening here. I think it's age. So leopards are territorial, but as with anything, you know that male leopards tolerate females. They will tolerate their sons and sub-adults. If we compare a rhinoceros, an adult male rhinoceros has a territory, and he is totally tolerant of sub-adult, right up until adult male rhinos, provided they are not marking territory or showing any signs of dominance. And that is, I think, what we've got here. We've got an old male, an experienced male. We've got a male that is not actually a threat to him in any way. Now, he might have given him a bit of a smack this morning, but beyond that, he is not concerned. He's not threatened by Sindile. The fact that they're sharing food is incredible. We're going to reposition when we go around to the carcass and see if we can't get another view. This is amazing. Let's go across to Brent, find out how his lion search is going.
Live. Success! Well, strangely enough, I was on their tracks, going through those thickets behind them, and we drove past here about 5-10 minutes ago, and they weren't here. From the tracks, it looks like they got chased by elephants, and fortunately, they are still on Juma, and still together. Hello, kitties. Oh, big yawn. Now, strangely enough, I was following the tracks, And then I suddenly saw Aubrey's car stop. Oh, get ready, guys. Stretch. Flirt. Silly boy. Don't go behind us. They're going to go right behind us. And we'll just have a look if it's safe to reverse. Look how they're going to mate. There we go. Get ready. Okay, so not nearly as aggressive as the mating was this morning. And he seems to last a little bit longer this afternoon as well. Managed to get about 5 seconds there. Now, she is displaying sort of post-coital behavior by rolling onto her back. But I'm not sure whether it's proper mating. As you can see, there's very distinct suckle marks on her nipples. So she's either confused him with her hormones, or she's lost a litter of cubs in the last week. And now, time to set the clock. It is 8 minutes past 4. So 15 minutes, and they should be on the job again. Now that also always depends on how early or how late into the mating they are. But on average over 4 days, it's about once every 15 minutes that they mate. So, oh, sorry, I'm a bit bigger than the other presenters. It's a bit harder for me to turn around. But we're going to sit here. I think there's going to be quite a bit more action here. Definitely going to head towards the rest of the Nkuhuma Pride a little later. I'm hoping they're going to continue on their buffalo hunt. Now, as she lifted her head, he lifts his head just in case. So Donna is wondering, do male lions go into must like elephants? Donna, no. Male lions are always ready and able. They don't have to be in a heightened hormonal position to mate. So they will only mate when the female's on estrus or pseudo-estrus, or very occasionally, which is what we might be seeing here, is just after a lioness has given birth. Obviously, her hormones and estrogen is running quite high, so the males tend to be a little bit confused and think they are in estrus and start mating with them. But it's sometimes easier for the lionesses to mate rather than to sort of put off the mating and try to keep them away. Now, she could be doing it to protect cubs. Now, as you know, quite often male lions will eat their own cubs. Just depends on the circumstances, especially when they're very young, in that age before they've been introduced to the pride. And as the one thing we've got to remember is, it doesn't matter what any of the books say, the animals haven't read them, and they can pretty much do what they please. Sorry about that, that's just me cleaning, tightening my filter on my camera. It came a bit loose. Now, this is the female, I'm pretty sure was missing when we saw them all together at Buffelshoek Dam yesterday. And this is the same male from Buffelshoek Dam. Now, a very distinct little, if we zoom into her belly, about there. Just a little bit to the right, there we go. A very distinct little wound there. And that we can identify this female. I do not remember seeing her yesterday. So it's quite possible she was the missing fifth Nkuhuma, and we've seen the other 4 Nkuhumas already this morning, and I'm pretty sure Mom of those little cubs is with the rest of the pride, and of course Mom of the 3 sort of 2-month-old cubs. So we knew there was a third female that was lactating and more than likely given birth, and this is this female. Now, whether she's lost a litter or it's a false estrus due to just being pregnant, only time is going to tell. Oh, sleepy kitty. Now, while they're mating like this, the male lion really won't let this lioness out of his sight. Every time she moves, he'll wake up. Diane, 44, would like to know how long would she leave cubs if she does have cubs and she's just mating for protection. It all depends on their age, Diane. I mean, if they are little, like we expect them to be, probably younger than 2 or younger than 3 weeks old, she can't really leave them for longer than 3 days, preferably less than a day and a half or 2 days, but sometimes they can leave them for up to 3 days. The longest I've ever seen them left and survive is about 5 days, but it is unusual. So if she still does have cubs, she's probably going to try and lose him tonight at some point. Oh, and they're going back to snooze. I remember, what was the time? It was 8 minutes past 4 when we checked last. I know, we're not quite there yet. Only 10 more minutes to go. Now, if we look carefully on his rump, let's have a look on his rump there. There's quite a few little, well, not so, it looks like a little bit of blood, probably from the same dust up that split his lip. And as I said, I'd say it's more than likely fighting with one of the other 4 coalition members for mating rights or for access to a carcass. I'm just going to move back a little bit. Is there a hole behind me? Nope, no hole.
When Brent has a usual pairing, we have an unusual one. Mvula perched in a very uncomfortable looking spot up in the tambuti tree, and Sindile feeding off the carcass in the drainage line, casting nervous glances up at Mvula, every now and again. There he is, you'll just see the spots of him as he's clearly feeding. You can see he is. Hello, boy. Something else has occurred to me. Something that we never got to see because it often occurred on Torchwood. But Mvula was actually but we used to hear all the time that Mvula was busy feeding with Quarantine, sharing his kills with Quarantine when he was a little bit younger. Now, Quarantine is Karula's cub, Karula's 3.5, nearly 4-year-old cub. Sorry, I'm being blinded by the sunlight, so bear with me. I'm just blinking quietly. This is the absolute best position that we can get. I might not have any eyesight by the end of it. But if I go any further forward, I am going to be right in Mvula's personal space. I will be right underneath him, which, with Mvula, he's very, very relaxed around vehicles. We probably could do, but do we want to? Because he's clearly shifting around uncomfortably on the Tambuti branch upon which he has found himself.
Every time I turn off the lights, there's this woman, Diana.
Everyone is afraid of the dark.